Hey biohackers, welcome back. I know you guys have heard me talk about how my biological age is a decade younger than my chronological age. Let me do this once more. As of today, my chronological age is 38 years and 8 months, and my biological age is 28 years. Alright, now this episode is part 1 of a series in which I'm going to share my age reversal biohacking protocol. Everything I do and everything I share is backed by longevity research and functional medicine. But this is my personal protocol. You can definitely pick up parts and foundational elements of my protocol and implement in your life. However, the best way to go about this is take the first step of measurement. Why? Because what gets measured gets managed, remember? Now, if you're ready to start biohacking your biological age, check out the details in the description below on how to join the Biohackers Club. Alright. Now, this series is broken into a few parts. The first, which is this episode, talks about my diet and supplementation protocol, followed by my exercise protocol in the next episode, and then my sleep protocol and other biohacks. So let's get started. So why am I beginning with nutrition and diet? See, the truth of the matter is that you could be doing everything right from fasting, exercise, all the biohacks in the world, but if your nutrition and your sleep is not optimized, nothing else matters. So let's do a quick nutrition 101. What is food? Actually, starting with what is not food might be easier. So empty calories are not food. Addictive taste enhancers are not food. Highly processed refined goods in packages are not food. Things that look like food but can be preserved for days at end are not food. Food is nourishment that is meant for our sustenance. So one of the first unlearnings I had to do as a biohacker was to stop counting calories and start measuring nutrition. Just remember the nutrition matrix, which is PCFMV, that is protein, carbohydrates, fat, minerals, and vitamin. Now, I always begin by measuring my daily protein intake. Why? Because most of us are simply not getting enough. See, I know that mainstream media and our culture has associated protein with muscle growth or bodybuilding, but the fact is that protein is literally our building block of life. Its significance is so much more than just muscles. It's used for everything from our cellular structure to hormone creation, enzyme creation, even in the mechanism of our DNA repair. Now, we need at least 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kg of our body weight. In fact, latest research even shows that women in their peri or post-menopause should be aiming for a 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kg of their body weight every single day, even without any exercise involved, because this simply counteracts the natural muscle loss that leads to sarcopenia. Now, since I work out extensively, I aim for a 2.5 grams of protein per kg of my body weight every single day. Just remember, if you simply optimize your protein and your sleep, you will burn significantly more fat than hours of cardio. Okay, this brings me to fats. By the way, I love healthy fats in my diet. I call it the glow maker. I aim for almost 40% of my dietary calories to come from healthy fats. Yes, 40%, because despite the bad reputation that fats gets thanks to the outdated dietary myths and mainstream media, it is an essential macronutrient which is not only important for glowing skin but for hormone production and cellular health. Now, what are healthy fats? MUFAs, monounsaturated fats, or PUFAs, polyunsaturated fats, which come from foods like avocado, olives, fatty fish, flax seeds, chia seeds, nuts, seeds. Even organic ghee is fantastic because of its nutritional profile. But the one thing you will never find in my kitchen is refined and seed oils like sunflower oil or soybean oils or any of the seed and refined oils, purely because it is high in omega-6. And cooking in these oils disrupts our omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, which leads to systematic inflammation. One of the reasons why I've almost stopped eating outside, even in my relatives' homes. For Indian cooking, organic ghee and cold-pressed coconut oil is fantastic. Along with that, cold-pressed flaxseed oil and extra virgin olive oil are fantastic for salad dressings, also honestly as supplementation. By the way, I not only supplement with cold-pressed flaxseed oil, I begin my day with organic A2 ghee in black coffee or hot water on an empty stomach before my workout. Okay, before sharing my routine, let's quickly talk about carbohydrates. Because rest of my dietary calories come from carbohydrates that are complex carbs or resistant starches like sweet potatoes, starchy vegetables, fruits, rice, brown rice, sometimes gluten-free grains like bajra and jawar, even quinoa. Now, I don't have any allergens in my diet, so I don't have gluten except for maybe a sourdough bread every now and then. I also avoid legumes and beans because I'm a little sensitive to lectin. But remember that carbohydrates are important. However, in some cultures, specifically India, we have a very carb-heavy diet, which means that we are often over-consuming them. Keep in mind that all carbohydrates, except for fiber, in our body are broken down to glucose. And a diet that has a high glucose load leads to metabolic disorders like metabolic syndrome and cardiometabolic disorders. That's why it's important to stay aware of your diet's glucose load and choose carbohydrates that are high in fiber or resistant starches to be able to reduce your glucose load and also slow down the release of glucose from your diet and your meals. This will help promote better metabolic health. By the way, this is a good time to address the myth of healthy sweets that are made of jaggery and dates. Now, jaggery and date, while they are healthier than sugar purely because of their mineral and vitamin content, they're still very, very high in the glycemic index, which means sweets made of jaggery and dates are also have a high glucose load, which means that they should only be treated as indulgences and not health food. Now, while balancing macronutrients is a numbers game, balancing micronutrients is a little bit more nuanced. Micronutrients include minerals, vitamins, and phytonutrients. Now, I typically do my blood work every couple of months to be able to analyze the nutrition gap and then plan my supplement stack. You can also do the same at the Biohackers Company. Find the details in the description below. Now, I want to talk about why I rely on supplementation. It's honestly because of the world that we live in. The food today is not as nutritious as it used to be. You can blame the pesticides or the genetically modified seeds or the depleted soil, but the fact of the matter is, even after eating a balanced diet, we do have nutritional gaps that need to be addressed with supplementation from time to time. Okay, let's now get into the details and look at my diet and supplement protocol at the beginning of 2025. So first, I do intermittent fasting for 14 to 16 hours almost every day. And I follow a 2000 calorie diet, 30% of which comes from protein. So it's almost about 150 grams of protein from whole eggs, fatty fish, tofu, and even supplementation. Then 40% of this comes from healthy fats. So this is almost about 88-89 grams from foods like avocados, olives, again fatty fish, soaked or roasted nuts and seeds, and flaxseed oil. I use that as supplementation along with ghee and cold pressed coconut oil. The remaining 30% comes from carbohydrates. So it's again about 150 grams, which includes resistant carbs like sweet potatoes, fruits, vegetables, sometimes rice or quinoa. Alright, my supplementation stack is planned along with my menstrual cycle. So the first thing in the morning, during my follicular phase, I begin with a little bit of activated charcoal and water. And the rest of the month, I have pink salt, about a pinch or 2 pinches of pink salt in water at the start of my day, which is followed by half a teaspoon of A2 organic ghee in either black coffee or hot water before my workout, along with the Biohackers Company's Metafire, so that I get L-carnitine, chromium, alpha-lipoic acid, and some good probiotics at the beginning of the day. All of this is before my workout. After my workout, I have 2 teaspoons of cold-pressed flaxseed oil from the Biohackers Company, half an avocado, a handful of berries with hydrolyzed whey protein, and creatine, taurine, and collagen, again from the Biohackers stack. And middle of the day, I have 3 full eggs with a bowl of salad and a little bit of sweet potato, either boiled or roasted. And with this, I have reduced glutathione with CoQ10 and vitamin C and resveratrol. Then in the evening, I have a handful of walnuts with a fruit like either orange or papaya, and I combine this currently with selenium because that is fulfilling my current nutritional gap. Now around 5 p.m. I have my dinner, which is typically a lean protein along with some salad and either rice or quinoa, and this is usually my largest meal of the day. During my follicular and luteal phase, I have the Biohackers company's berberine about 30 odd minutes before my dinner. And then after dinner around 6:30, I have a dessert which is made of almond butter, coconut flour, hydrolyzed whey protein, and a little bit of coconut milk. This is a lovely pudding. I love this. It's my favorite part of the day. And I combine this with a high dosage of T3 with K2 and MCT oil and magnesium glycinate. And then just before bed, I have chamomile and melatonin. All right, that is my diet and supplement protocol as of January 2025. Again, like I shared, this is my personal protocol, and specifically my supplementation stack is built based on my biomarkers, which I had last tested in December 2024. Again, if you are ready to start biohacking your biological age or want to build your personalized supplement stack, check out the details in the description below, and I'll see you in the next episode.